and welcome back to Williams Educational Consultants. I am Wendy Williams, founder of Williams Educational, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Ann-Marie Stripling, who I've known for many years. We are going to talk about Focus Collegiate. So, hello and welcome.
Hey.
Before we begin, tell me a little bit about your background and how you have gotten to the role that you are in at Focus Collegiate.
Sure. My background is weird, as you might guess, right? My master's is in counseling, so I did counseling for many years, all over the place, in homes and all kinds in schools, things like that. And then shifted to doing special ed. So my background's a little bit blended. So counseling, special ed, and then kind of fell into working for post-secondary support programs. So when we met way back, probably in 2008, we're not dating ourselves though, but that's fine. So working for college living experience, and then over the years that has kind of shifted and changed, and started with Focus Collegiate 3 years ago in the pandemic. Although I'll be honest, I've known Grant Liebersberger, who founded Focus Collegiate, for probably 15 years. So we go way back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I've always worked with and love to work with families and students who have all types of learning differences and needs, but working with them through that period in high school to college. It's just a fun time. So
it is. I mean, obviously I love it too, because I too work with students going through that whole process with the college admissions piece. But I know I have had students come your way. I know how successful they have been, and how much the organization that you are working with have supported and helped them. So I would like to know, who is the first, not the first, but the perfect type of candidate for your program?
Yeah. I mean, somebody who's excited to go to college. They want to go to college. They want to do well. They also understand that they might need more support their first year, not because they can't do it, but because they're going from the highly structured high school environment to super unstructured college environment. And they've also never been to college before. So they don't know what they don't know. And so for us, it's really looking at those students that are willing to kind of say that to themselves and know that about themselves and be open to the support that we would provide. So that's probably the most important thing, I would say.
Do students have to have a learning diagnosis or anything? They don't.
They don't. And you know how it is these days, right? Like, we've all been through the ringer with COVID and with just the world. And so, okay, here we are, we're going to college, and maybe it's a student that just feels kind of nervous about it. And maybe they're going coming from a really small environment to a really large environment in their college. And they want to make sure they have enough support to be successful, but they don't have any type of documented anything. And they're not going to get accommodations at their college. They just know they might need extra help that first year.
What a comfort to parents knowing that this exists, because it really is one of its own. There's not a lot of organizations and companies that work with students across the nation.
It's true.
So it's hard to find that support and comfort. Do you think that students stay with you all for a certain period of time benefit more than those that come in for like a summer or a semester? How does that kind of feel out for you?
That's a good question. I mean, usually if they're joining us during the year, they're with us about a year, and then they might step down, or they might be ready to step out of our support and they're just using the on-campus supports, and we've helped them learn how to do that. We do have students every year that come in and just do our summer cohort in Boston. And so that's a 3-week prep experience. Really, they're living in dorms. We do it at Simmons University in Boston, in the Back Bay. So if you like sports, or in the Fenway area. So if you like sports, right, it's right in there with Fenway.
It's right there.
Yeah. So it's cool because they can come and just do that experience and maybe they feel supported by their college in the fall, and that's super cool, but they want to have a 3-week prep where they can live in dorms, understand what the expectations are going to be for them in, okay, how do I manage all these systems? How do I survive the college lecture? What do I need to know? If I am getting accommodations, what do I need to know about that, right? But we also do a lot of putting them in social situations that are uncomfortable. Because again, if you're an introvert, if you're a student who's a little bit shyer, going into a college environment can be a little awkward. You gotta
Very
start
overwhelming.
again, you know, and so we want them to practice that. So they're practicing that
Yes.
for 3 weeks.
Gosh, thinking about all the things you do have to start again. Just the conversations, the who am I, how do you connect with your roommate, your professors? So if they're at Simmons, that's not necessarily where they are going in the fall.
That's right.
But how do y'all put together a program that kind of looks like that college experience? Are they in lecture halls? Are they working with professors?
They're using Simmons classrooms. They live in Simmons dorms. They're understanding, like, how do I navigate a campus? Granted, Simmons is a small campus, so if they're going to a large public university, it's going to be different. But again, it's about the practicing of it, right? And so how do I do that? We do sessions on the campus in the lecture halls and in the classrooms at Simmons. They're going to the dining hall to eat their meals just like they would do on their campus. What if I have a food allergy? How do I figure that out? Right? Like, all those things that I think students, they've not really had to navigate on their own before, because if going to the same high school, everybody's known them for 4 years, they feel really comfortable there, teachers they're comfortable with, versus going onto a new campus and kind of practicing is a little bit different. But they, doing their laundry, right? Where is the laundry? How do I deal with that? What if I'm sharing a bathroom with people? Do I need to clean the bathroom? What does that mean? Right? Like, really understanding kind of all the life stuff, the academic demands, and also the social shifts that are going to happen. And then they're doing that all on a college campus.
Yes. How many students do you all work with at a time?
30 in the summer. So summer is we cap it at 30 this year. It may grow in time, but 30 for this year. And then during the year, we usually have about 55 students, 60 students that we would work with. We keep our ratios low because we want our students to be able to not only do scheduled meetings each week with our staff, but for our staff to help with in the moment stuff too. Like, oh my, I can't find my discussion post in my LMS. I know it's due in 2 hours. I'm freaking out. I need help. Right. Okay, great. You can reach out to your team, and we want them to be able to respond to those things in the moment. Yeah.
How many are on staff?
We've got 4 teams of 2 staff members. So the way our structure is, we will have a collegiate life specialist and a collegiate learning specialist that is a team for every student. And so that student's going to have one of those people as their point person, and they'll meet with them most often. But, so we have 2 people teams, and we have 4 teams. Right. So it's not a big company. I mean, we all like each other, we hang out, we enjoy working with the young adults, and our staff, everybody's got master's degrees. They know they've been working with young adults for a long time. So they understand that nuance of, all right, this is an adult, and I want to teach this student the importance of making this particular decision, but I'm not going to tell them what to do because it's their decision,
Their decision.
Right. Like, or I'm not going to come at them with a list of things. I want to help them create the list and prioritize the list, right? Not doing it for them. And that's a shift.
That is a big shift.
It is. It's
a big shift. So speaking of shifting, how does the program work with parents wanting to know, what's happening with their student who now is a young adult, who is in college? What is the upkeep, the connection, all that fun stuff? And do you have to get approval from the student? I mean, I would assume that the parents are the ones that are paying for this type of service.
They are.
So how does that work?
When students come in, they know that we're going to interact with their parents. We talk about that. We we want to give the parents enough information so they feel comfortable with knowing that the students got it, right?
Right.
But we also want to make sure that the parents are getting some type of support, in so much as we want them to understand what their shifting role is and how they can kind of thrive in that new role.
Mm-hmm.
And because that is also very different for parents. So typically we are sending updates to the parents every week. Usually that's an email,
Yeah.
But we do have monthly calls with parents, and then we do parent education twice a month.
Oh, tell me
right?
more.
Like, so
Tell me
about
more.
motivation, student motivation, or it could be like, all right, what's happening in the life of your student right now at college?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Midterms that's a pretty popular topic. What is going on in their life? Because some parents are like, I haven't heard from them. I don't know what's going on. Yep, they're slammed. And so that's what's happening.
That's
and
why.
so, yeah, I mean, we want to educate parents, but also help them understand that communication is really important for parents. Having fun, for parents to have fun with their students is very important, so that parents don't feel like they're always saying, oh, but did you do this? But did you do this?
Right.
No, let's talk about the cool football game that your student went to and how fun it was, and things like that. There is a lot of parent support, especially in the summer, I will say, because I think that's the first time where parents are like, okay, we're trying this out. A lot of conversations I have with students, I will tell the student, hey, so this summer practice that you're doing, it's really about your parents practicing you being away from home, because it is scary for parents to,
It is scary.
to have their kids gone. And it's like, wait,
Right.
what's happening right now? You're about to go through
Yes.
that yourself. So,
Oh, this is not about me, Ann-Marie.
so it is, I
I
mean,
do have a senior. Yes, and
it
he is
is,
going.
it's a real shift. And so summer, when their students are coming for summer, we do a parent meeting every week of the 3-week summer program, so that they can feel like, okay, this is fun. I'm doing this. I understand.
No, I think that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of wish that every college out there would do some type of parent education and training. Instead, you're sending off your child to a college experience and you're signing all these documents giving your rights away,
Yeah.
So
It's hard.
it's a very difficult transition for all. So yes, lots of exciting on, the student front, and lots of anxiety on the parent front. I know they're excited too, but it can be problematic, I guess, stressful, lots of things.
Stressful.
Well, you've worked with young adults, I feel like, forever.
Long time.
Tell me, what is it that you love about this population?
I feel like this is so on the one hand, I think a lot of people focus on the stress of this time, getting into college. Where are you going to get in? Are you prepared? What are you going to do? What are you going to major in? Right. And so there's a lot of pressure on students and parents. What I like about this time is it's so fun. This is when we all think about college, we think about how much fun we had. We think about the friends we made, the parties we went to, all these things. And I think students spend a lot of time focused on the stressful parts and not as much on the fun parts. And so the other pieces, I mean, like, they could do anything. They could go anywhere. They could be anything. They could study anything they want to. Whereas I feel like in high school, it's super prescriptive, like what you're studying and why and when. And college, you could choose anything that you want to study, anything that you want to do. So I feel like there's so much potential and fun that's about to come their way. And I think it's important to really help students focus on that a little bit more than they do.
Yes. I think a parent said to me this past weekend, actually, and I'm not going to quote it exactly the way that it was said, but it is true that college is a great time to get lost.
Yes.
And it really is. Like, have that time to explore, get lost, take a U-turn, reach a dead end, turn back around. I mean, I think that we as a society put so much pressure on not only the student, but the educators and the parents to really outline, what it is that X and Y and Z are doing, for the
Yeah.
rest of their life. And
Right.
I always joke and say, you have to take it one day at a time. I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I
Nor
enjoy
me.
what I am doing. Do not misunderstand me. But to say that there aren't other ideas and great things out there that I could excel in and be very happy doing is, an understatement. I mean, there are. So college, I think one of the most important reasons to go off to a 2-year or a 4-year college
Right.
is to get lost and find themselves.
I agree.
So
100%.
you just have the support like Focus Collegiate, then getting lost won't be as difficult to be found
Right.
again.
Right.
So you don't, there's a lot of different connections and support services out there. But I will say personally, working with you, and I have received great data back from students that y'all have worked with of mine that have been, fantastic. And parents are thrilled with this type of service and support. So, I feel like we both like working with young adults because we still are young.
Obviously. Yeah.
Throw that in there real quick.
Yeah.
Tell me, are there any books or suggestions that you give?
I do have a
to parents?
suggestion.
Oh my gosh, tell us.
Okay. So these are Talking College cards.
Ready? Girl, I've never seen this.
So Andrea Brenner created these. They're one of my favorite tools because these are specifically for students with learning differences, but she actually has different decks. Here's another one, campus visits.
I love that. Yeah.
I love it because, communication is so important, right? Parents to students and students to sharing with their parents kind of what they really want versus what the parent might want. And I feel like these Talking College cards allows for that conversation in a structured way where they can kind of work through some of these topics over time. Because right, it is. I mean, you probably start working with students. Some students, you probably start working with them when they're in 9th and 10th grade. And so there's time to kind of start talking about college and what does it mean. And I think these cards help facilitate those discussions. And we've actually used them. We do use them in our summer cohort as well sometimes. So I think it's a great tool for parents. I think it's a great tool for students. To just get that conversation going. So I'd say those are great tools.
That's great.
Yeah.
I have, obviously mine are not published, but I have all these questions that are, really just they're outside the box thinking. And a lot of times they're not even about college. They're just to help with really exploring the inner self and opening up and having these great conversations with parents and teachers. So, yes, I do work with students that are coming in for college admissions advice, 9th and 10th grade, which does seem young, but really I do not talk about colleges. I talk about their interests, their passions, their day-to-day. What are they living for? What are they hoping for? And just explore some great concepts with them. And then if they decide to stay on and do the whole admissions piece, then the questions about the different types of campuses and the college visits come up. But I do feel like when you start early, you give yourself the opportunity to really take time and dig.
And yourself then. You know more about yourself and the things that you want in a college, in a life, in a club, in a living environment, right? Like you just know more about yourself.
Yeah, you do. It's the best way to do it.
I agree.
Tell me, how do you think your program is going to expand over the next 5 or 10 years? Because it's only going to grow.
That's a big question. I think summer has been really good for us. We're a young program in the scheme of programs, right? And so, we're in our 5th year. That's young. Okay. We love the fact that we've grown to 4 teams, at this point. I think summer has a great potential to grow because I do feel like there are a lot of students out there that want a summer experience
Hmm.
once they have their head in the game around college, that is not necessarily going to get them a grade or a credit in a math class. It's
That's true.
more holistic than that, right?
Right.
Who are you? How are you going to do this thing that is college, right?
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
I think that will grow, in time. We have all types of ideas. Our virtual support has grown. I mean, since COVID, we didn't think we were at the beginning. I don't think we thought we were going to do virtual support at all. And now we have students all over the country that we're working with. And
Yeah.
so that has grown already. I think that will continue to grow. Um, if they're in Boston, we can support them in person. And so
Hmm.
that's consistent. And we have some families and some students who are like, I want to go to school in Boston so I can work with Focus Collegiate in person. That's great.
Right.
You
So it
know,
is based in Boston,
it is based in Boston.
but
Yes.
you're not in Boston.
I'm not in Boston. No, I'm the weirdo. Hi. I live I live in Florida. It's random. But
I think it's
COVID,
great.
it's great. And I travel a lot too.
Yes.
I go really all around the nation to conferences and meeting with schools and professionals and things like that.
Yeah.
So these days that's pretty much the norm, post
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for all that you do because you are a wealth of information. I think you've really helped build this amazing program for students and parents. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Before we
you.
go, I
Yeah.
always ask everyone what
Yes.
brings them joy. So tell me, what brings
Mm.
you joy? Where do you find that in your day to day?
I love to be outside. I mean, I live in Florida, so I try to walk every day. And I like to be outside in the sunshine. It makes me happy.
Hmm.
Also, cozy mystery books. Love them. Just read them all
Have
the
you
time.
read anything recently?
I'm reading an old series right now that is about a female detective. And so I'm
Oh,
probably on the 22nd book of the series. I'm a total nerd.
wow.
I mean, you know this about me,
Wow.
but
I know, but
you're so yeah, I would say that outside and reading, I really like to read too. So
well, I love it. Thank you so much for spending time today and getting this information out to students. Before we leave, I'd love for you to tell everybody how to connect with you. Of course, I'll put
sure.
it up in the show notes, but if you would just tell them how to reach out to Focus Collegiate and how to find you.
Yeah, so focuscollegiate.com is our website, and it's pretty easy to see. We have a lot of stuff up, video for the summer cohort, things like that. We also do a podcast for families, which is a
Okay.
great resource. So there's a lot of that stuff on our website. Um, my email address is AnnMarie at focuscollegiate.com. Super easy. And I'm sure Wendy can post it in the
Yes,
notes,
I'll put
but
it.
feel free, email me if you have questions. I'm the person. So I do all our enrollment. I do our outreach. So I'm happy to chat with anybody who has questions.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much. I hope you get some sunshine today. It's been a
Yeah.
little cloudy here in Georgia. I think the sun's going to come out. It's a little cold, but other than that, I'd rather be in where we are than in Boston right now.
Yeah. Ooh, definitely. Snow day for them.
Love it. All right. Thank you so much. Stay in touch, and I
Thanks.
appreciate your time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.